Hello, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Dawn and welcome. Today Monty is not here, so I will be running the episode. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about my upbringing in Dubai. Did it better prepare me for the US? Was it different from living in India or being raised in India? So we're going to cover a few questions about Dubai and just being born and raised there. If you're interested, stay tuned. And if you love this episode and love us, please hit the subscribe button below and hit the like as well. All right, there's quite a few points I want to cover, so I'm going to get right to it. I was born there, I was raised there till I was 17. I basically graduated high school and then I moved to Oklahoma for school. So my experience with Dubai is the old Dubai, as people like to call it these days, I believe. As you all know, Dubai is known for its skyscrapers and indoor ski centers and, its lavish lifestyle. And, it was kind of still like that back then. I remember moving from Dubai to Oklahoma, and that was a huge culture shock because everything closed at 8 p.m. in Oklahoma. And in Dubai, when I was raised, we used to go shopping for groceries at the mall at 10 p.m. So the lifestyles was just like drastically different. But one of the big things with being an Indian or an expatriate, that's what we were called. If we were not a Dubai citizen, you were called an expatriate. So there was a high percent of Indians, Filipinos, Africans such as Nigerians, Russians, etc. It's a good melting pot of people, but there's just so much of your own culture that you tend to just stick with your own culture. So like there was such a large Indian population that I went to a school that was like 6,000 kids of only Indian kids. And it was we were called expatriates to begin with. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're expiring at some point? I guess that's what it means, because no matter how long you are there, you are never a citizen, not like the US where you're born here, you get citizenship. I was born there, raised there, no citizenship. I still had an Indian passport. There was just so much discrimination, I thought, between the local Arabs and everybody else, like the expatriates, such as Indians and Filipinos. I'm just going to talk about my experience. There was such a pay scale difference. There was also like just little things like, okay, hey, you call a taxi, a UK or a US person might call a taxi, and I might call a taxi as an Indian, and they would probably get a taxi first. It's just like little discrepancies. Like even I remember coming to the US and going back home 6 months in. I was 18, and I remember going to Dubai, going through immigration, and like the lady there do not even look up at me. Like the amount of customer service that's there, it's like crazy, which is non-existent. And they really look down on you as an Indian. I just, I could never go back. People always ask me now, could you go back and live there? I could never go back and live there, because as much as I loved my upbringing, I loved that Dubai was safe, and it was easy for parents back then to raise their kids in Dubai because of the safety. You went with Indian kids to school, all that kind of cultural stuff was there. I was Christian. We were raised in a Pentecostal home, and I was only hanging out with Pentecostal Christian, kids. And I think in that way, it was safe for parents to raise kids. But could I go back and live there again? No, because the pay scale is separate. There's so much discrimination. You're always going to be looked down upon, and so discrimination was the big thing. Second thing is the facade. Dubai is known for its, skyscrapers and money. Unless you're making good money, it's really hard to survive in Dubai. And a lot of the construction workers, especially over COVID, I heard that they just had to go back to their country of origin because there was no construction happening. You cannot really survive Dubai. Another thing is, like I just touched upon, just the cost of living is so expensive. It's almost excessive, and it's almost ridiculous, honestly, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, we love luxury, right? I mean, I live in not Beverly Hills, but I live in California, and I see luxury here, sure. But it's almost excessive. It's like, it's too expensive to live, but then there are, expensive cars, new cars, constantly on the road. I mean, you could probably say Bentley every single day over there, or Rolls Royce, It's just almost like, and then the women there have expensive bags, and it's very normal. It's not like, oh, I gotta save up and buy this nice bag and I'm gonna treat it well. It's just, hey, I have money, so why not? I'm just gonna spend it on some expensive bags, So it's almost like luxury is just kind of excessive and kind of thrown in your face. Another thing is always this feeling of being watched. Being an expatriate, being born and raised there, you are there on a visa, like work visa, dependent visa, whatever it is. And you do something wrong, you lose your employment, you're going to go back to your country of origin. So they're constantly watching you. If you do something wrong, it's crazy. You're going to get thrown in jail over there, which is not fun. So being born and raised in Dubai, I was just in intense heat all the time. I did not know it till I came to America, and then I went back to Dubai, and I'm like, how did I survive here? How did I live here? I don't know. Like, weather in California is pretty hot, and where I live, it gets very hot, and it's like I'm always complaining. So I just do not even understand how I survived the Dubai heat. Thankfully, the buses, I mean, literally anywhere you go, there's AC, but you're going in and out of AC. So it's, you're prone to getting sick. But the weather is very, very hot. So if you are not a hot weather person, I don't know, Dubai might not be the city for you. There is no free healthcare, and there is no free public education system. When we went to school, we went to an all Indian school, and my parents had to pay pretty much. It was like private school education. There's no free education there, which is slightly crazy. Like, what if you can't afford to send your kids to school? Like, where would you send them? Do you do homeschooling? Which I don't think was an option in Dubai. So I don't even know what people would do if you couldn't afford like to send your kids to school. Living in Dubai is probably like living in America. The kids there now, wear clothes like here, eat food like here, go to restaurants like here, listen to music like here, go to clubs like here, go to bars like here. So I think the culture-wise, if you're born there, you're raised there, assimilating to an American culture is a lot easier. I believe in India, especially in Kerala, where I'm from, it's very conservative. It's a little bit almost like backwards compared to like, let's say Mumbai or Delhi or any other city. So I think if you came specifically from Kerala to America, there's a kind of a cultural barrier. There is a little bit of a culture shock because people hear, the sense of humor, what they eat, how they talk, how they communicate, everything they're thinking, it's very different, and there is definitely an adjustment period of a few years, I would say. So Dubai, in short, I would say is a city of floating people. People come in, make their money, leave. People come in, build families, make money, store up wealth, leave. And so it never felt like home. And I remember when I came to America, it was, people will ask me where I'm from. And to me, even to this day, it's a very complicated question because I don't know where I'm from. I just am from California because honestly, my family is where I'm from, right? But I was born and raised in Dubai, but Dubai never felt like home. So I would tell people I'm from India because I had an Indian passport all my life, but I never really lived in India. We would visit because we had family there, but we never visited. We never lived there. So between like not feeling like you kind of belong anywhere, it's a little funny. It's a little funny, but I would say though that Dubai. Moving to the US was a lot easier because we spoke English in Dubai. We ate kind of American foods in Dubai, like burger, pizza. Like we were exposed to it, I should say. I don't think we ate it every day, but we were exposed to American food. And then, there's always like cultural difference when you move to another country, right? Like this, the way people talk, the humor, their thinking, the food, what you wear, all of that kind of stuff. But I think definitely being born and raised in Dubai helped that. Like I believe if I was born and raised in Kerala, I would have a harder time. Like the English is different, or like the mentality is a little bit different in Kerala. The foods, I believe now it's okay, but back then, it was not like, it was all Kerala foods, which is very different from what you even get at the Indian restaurants here. And so I think if I had to move here, there's definitely like a few years of adjustment period. And once, being open to the American culture is important. Being open to learning something new, to learning a new way of doing something. Like even washers and dryers are a foreign concept to me. I had washers back home, but a dryer, I had never seen it all my life. Like it was like, what? You could dry your clothes in the dryer? It's one of those things. So like just being open to like just things that are called different, like biscuits back home are not biscuits here. What we call dresses back home are not dresses here. I don't know, just like there's just like all these little minor differences. And even just like using the toilet, who used toilet paper back home? Seriously, like those things I had to learn. And you just open, you learn, and as the time goes by, it becomes your new normal, So anyways, I hope this episode was helpful to you. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. We'll see you back here for our next one.